What's up, guys? What's up, guys? Probably said that twice. I just made a 4-minute video, well, kind of thing, where I was talking about doing, like, an outlet series where I, like, kind of give a brief story on an event that's happened in my life or something, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of based on Jen, aka Miss Snow Bunny's, Real Talk series. She kind of, like, inspired me to do my own, kind of, I guess. So I just want to, like, give her props before I continue, but I feel like I should, for a first video like this, talk about my anxiety. Now, I pretty much had, I mean, you can slowly develop worse and worse anxiety, and that's pretty much what happened to me. I've had anxiety for forever, and I know everyone has their moments, but, like, I am diagnosed, I take prescription medicine for it, etc., and it's crazy. I mean, ever since I've been on medication, it's been better, but there's times where it's not. And I will tell you some examples that have been, like, the utmost worst. And, like, in a way, looking back on them, yeah, it's kind of silly, but then it's just, like, I'm really disappointed in a way, like, at myself, like, really, you couldn't get through that, or, like, you know, stuff like that. So, if this hair would cooperate with me, that'd be cool. So I think I'm gonna go way back to elementary school, where my earliest anxiety memories come from, and this piece of hair, my hair doesn't want to do its hairstyle. I don't frickin' know. Okay. So, in 4th grade, which would make me 10, 11, something like that. My grandma was diagnosed with cancer all over the place. It was really bad. She ended up passing away, but that's another story. However, in support, my mom, sister, and I all cut our hair short, and you'd be like, whoa, Swany, what? You had long hair at a point? I did. I have had long hair at times, but, so we all cut our hair short in support for my grandma, and then, you know, going to school, like, not being developed, as a woman or a female or whatever you want to call it. Again, 11-year-old me. This is what started affecting me the most, and that would be because I am not the girliest of girls, and the way I dress. I know most people only see me wearing hoodies all the time because that's what I wear, but I primarily dress in guys' clothing for the most part, and I have, like, basically ever since I could dress myself, I've pretty much worn guys' clothing. So when I was little 4th grader me, people would mistake me for a little boy. So this made using public restrooms difficult, and just, like, in general, the school scene, very difficult for me, because I didn't want to use the restroom and have to explain for every person who thought I was a boy that I'm not a boy. And it really triggered me the first time it happened. Like, you know, I cut my hair, went to school the next day, and I used the bathroom, and someone, like, freaked out because they thought I was a boy. And I'm like, whoa, that didn't happen yesterday when I had long hair. I thought nothing of it. So that was just, like, one example. Another time was I had kept short hair throughout, like, 7th grade, maybe. I started growing out in 7th grade. But in 6th grade, that's where gym is introduced, you know, and you have to, the locker room sitch. and whatnot. And I remember there were a group of like 7th graders. I mean, I was in 6th grade at the time, and they were like, "Whoa, there's a boy in the locker room," and they were like trying to be all discreet, and I don't know how, but I had the courage to walk up to them, and I'm like, actually, I'm a girl. And yeah, that's just something I remember. We ended up becoming friends and whatnot. It's just people are ignorant at a young age, and they're not intentionally ignorant, they just are because, you know, you don't understand things and whatnot. But that's, up to this day, like, public restrooms is always a fear of mine, and it will probably always be a fear of mine. No matter what length of my hair, no matter how revealing I come off or whatnot, that'll always be a problem, because that'll always roll in the back of my mind. And not only that, so that's just one of the millions of anxiety problems I've had. So like, a lot of my problems came with school. That was my number one fear, was going to school. Because, let's be real, I wasn't the popular kid as much as you want to think. Don't flatter me. I didn't have a whole lot of friends. And it took me a long while to come out of my shell, I guess. But throughout elementary school, throughout middle school, I had acquaintances. I didn't really have like a group of friends to sit with till 8th grade, probably. Like, lunch was hell at school. I'd sit by myself, and these little boys that think they're funny would come up to me and try and like joke around, and it was just, it was the worst. But, and actually going back to the gender thing, I have one more thing to add about people thinking I was a boy. There was one time, I believe it was in 6th grade, it was within the first week of 6th grade, which, if people don't know, is middle school, and 6th grade is your first year in middle school. So it's a new school, new people, blah, blah, blah. So, one day, on the bus, there was this group of guys, and prior to this, I had talked to one of them, and I had let them know that I am a girl, because trust me, it was a thing, like, people needed to know. And I remember one time, they were in the back of the bus, I was in the front of the bus, and he called my name, and he was like, "Can you stand up?" And I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Just do it." And so I stood up, and he's like, "Yeah, that's a girl." Like, he had to make the biggest scene out of it. And it humiliated me so bad. And these are the moments, like, I had a lot of truancy issues, attendance issues at school. Not the greatest. Because of people like that. I didn't want to go to school and have to face people who would judge me. I always steer away from the word bullying me, but in a way, I guess it's kind of bullying me. Like, a lot of girls didn't like me for no reason. They just didn't like me because I was different. I guess that is a reason, but not a legitimate reason. And yeah, I know this one girl comes to my mind. She never liked me for no reason. Even when I did a 180, grew my hair out, started wearing girl clothes, makeup. Yeah, I wore makeup at one point in time. She still didn't like me. Like, no matter what I did, she did not like me. But all this, and then transitioning into high school. The high school I started at was huge. A lot of people. Then I switched over to online high school because the large groups and whatnot were affecting my anxiety like everything else does. But then online high school is the exact opposite. It's so isolating and so easy to get off task and just go on YouTube or Netflix or something else. And then I found out that wasn't working out for me because online high school is organized in such a weird way. Like, you need to do a certain amount of work to equal a certain amount of time. But if you're like me, you're not like the fastest person or whatever, so I'd get marked as truant because I wasn't doing the amount of work that was equivalent to the amount of time. So it was counted as absences, if that makes sense. So then I ended up having to go to court. I've gone to court several times for truancies and whatnot. There's that. And then I ended up at this one high school. I'm actually wearing a school sweatshirt right now. I don't really care, I guess. But this school probably saved me in more ways than one. It's an alternative high school, project-based learning, more hands-on. The teacher-to-student ratio, so tiny compared to public schools. It's not a private school, but there was only I think the max is 200 students, so it was really small. My graduating class was only like 35 students, something like that, maybe a little more. But they saved me from, like, it's hard to explain. They saved me from just being sucked into knowing nothing but my small comfort zone. And granted, I still have that small comfort zone, but this school would push me. And not in a bad way. They'd push me because they knew I had potential. I'm starting to get emotional talking about it, but they saved me. And they taught me that I can do good. And I just want to get my message across. That no matter how bad you think times are, they get better. Even if something bad happens again, there's still always light at the end of the tunnel. That story is really patchy, and I missed a lot, but I hope you guys get the gist of it. And if I continue to do more videos like this, I probably will cry in most of them, but I hope you get the moral of the story. So, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.